Welcome back to Art Adventures, the only show where we bring artwork to life. Metaphorically, anyways.
Hello.
Ah! Aujourd'hui, on va créer un tableau à l'aquarelle. Encore une fois. We're staying on the east side today with this beautiful picture I took on East 35th Street and Tunnel Exit Street. Yes, I checked. Tunnel Exit Street is a real street. Really makes you wonder where Tunnel Entrance Street is. If you couldn't already tell, we're asking the really hard-hitting question today. I think I took this while walking from the ferry terminal on 34th Street. By the way, if you ever have the chance, take the NYC ferry on the East River. Literally anywhere. It's so scenic and pretty. But enough talk, let's get into the painting. Now, not like literally into the painting, I mean let's start the painting. Never mind.
Caught up amongst the vivid visions, tell him to run, but he will not listen.
So, compositionally, I tried to get as much of the ivy and foliage on the row houses to the left of the frame as possible because that's one of the main reasons why I liked this view so much. I also liked the interesting shadow shapes that the trees cast, so I left a lot of space in the foreground to make that happen.
I've walked along the edge of town, to hear the voices, they make no sound.
If you'll notice, there's a traffic light at the top of the reference picture, but I ended up removing it from the painting because I felt like it would divide the foreground more if I left it in. Speaking of alterations, I also made the tower on the right a bit taller because I wanted to bring in some height variation in the background. Now, let's dive right into the color. Not literally dive, never, oh my.
45 hours I have waited, standing in line for something that's changing. Lied to myself to skirt the border, the fragments align in natural order.
I used my usual shadow mixture for the foreground, a lot of violet, and a touch of burnt umber and phthalo blue. For the shadows closer to the buildings, I ended up adding more burnt umber just to darken it. I know technically the shadows closer to the viewer should be darker, but I feel like it worked really well in this instance, and it's not like the shadows are too far away to seem realistic. That's also the trick. Things in the distance should have less saturation and less contrast. That way you get a good sense of depth.
How can I know if I've been doing it wrong? How can I know if I've been doing it wrong? How can I know if I've been
For the foliage, I ended up doing lots of coats of paint just because I never felt like it looked right. Kinda like my life right now, but not at all. Anyways, I ended up adding a lot of phthalo blue to the shadow areas just because I didn't want to be adding too much violet overall. And then for the row houses themselves, I used a lot of burnt sienna, but I also made sure to paint around all the windows so that the brown doesn't become too much of an underpainting and doesn't like show through the windows. I wanted to keep those really transparent. And now for the final painting. Here it is. I don't know, maybe I should do something interesting with my thumbnails. Does this look creepy? I can't tell. We'll choose one of those. Anyways, since this is one of the paintings that has a lot of detail in it, from the tiny shadows that define the windows out here to kind of just like even the lights on the traffic light here, I made them all one color just because it was easier, and honestly, like, you couldn't even tell what the other colors were on there. But my point is that this one was one that had more details than like the one previously, I think. And honestly, like, the secret to being able to paint so many details like that is to just go really slow. I feel like sometimes we just get really caught up in, you know, whether or not the details are gonna look good in the end, and, you know, oh, what if I mess up on this? And honestly, I don't think that helps at all. It's okay to be a bit nervous, but sometimes you kind of just have to put that aside and just go really slow and take your time. Like, there's no shame in coming back to it later, like doing a few windows and then taking a break for a bit, just because it might feel a bit overwhelming at times. If you go slow and like think about the process more, I feel like you're able to at least be in a calmer state of mind. That way it's easier to like do all these details, and honestly, like, details can be really fun sometimes. Obviously, you should always block in your main colors first and, you know, kind of just have an overall picture of what you want to do, but details in the end can be really fun to do. So if you ever see like any of these paintings and you think like, oh, that's like too complicated, I could never do that, like, don't worry about it. Just go slow, take your time. Honestly, like, that's all that there is to it. Oh, also, I forgot to mention that for these kind of, I don't know what to call them, for these like structures, forms up here, I ended up using like a really grayed out purple. So I basically just added a lot of yellow ochre to my purple. I think I might have added a bit of burnt umber in there. I might have to go back and check. But yeah, like, for the gray areas there, that's kind of my go-to mix. I don't know, I just really like grayed out purple, and plus the purple, like, there's already a lot of purple here, so it matches really well. I feel like for some artists we tend to like want to use black a lot, like the black straight from the tube of paint, and that's fine under some circumstances, but like, I would never use just the straight black from the tube. You always want to add in another color to the black, that way it doesn't look like more artificial than it should. I like to kind of just mix my own blacks just because I feel like you get a really good color with that. But if you want to use black to make like these kind of grays, or just to like darken some areas, that's totally fine. But I would also suggest, you know, adding in other colors, and maybe not like just a brown like burnt umber, which is a really dark brown, but, you know, like burnt sienna might be okay, but you could also add in violet and phthalo blue. I know I keep like saying those colors like I use them all the time, but yeah, that's one of the tips to make your paintings like feel more saturated, more vibrant like that. Like always, you can find this painting or any prints of it on my Etsy shop. And if you like this video, like, comment, share, subscribe, bell, do all the things that normal YouTubers ask. I know, like, I'm kind of becoming a normal YouTuber now. I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Merci pour avoir regardé. Et ça c'est tout.